like for the most part, Bleacher Report's mock trades are usually pretty trash. I'm sure you've seen a lot, like if, whether you're on other podcasts, but like I saw this Tyler Hero one and I didn't think it was actually that crazy. So the mock trade they would have is Tyler Hero to the Detroit Pistons in exchange for Isaiah Stewart, Karis LeVert, not this year's first, next year's, so 2027 first, and one of our second round picks that we got from the Milwaukee Bucks in a trade. So, I mean, you see a trade like this for Tyler Hero. I mean, does this at least kind of just like intrigue you a little bit?
It kind of does. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the biggest Tyler Hero fan, but that asking price, I don't think is super crazy. Like you said, next year's first, a second through Milwaukee, Karis LeVert, which we know who he is at this point, and Stu, who we love, is, obviously the heart and soul of, the defense of this team and a great energy guy. I wouldn't call him untouchable though. Like that's the thing. I know a lot of people might, from an emotional standpoint, I understand that, but in terms of basketball, in terms of what the number one priority needs to be for this basketball team, which is helping Cade Cunningham as much as possible, taking him off the ball, getting other shooters and scorers around him to take some pressure off of him. I don't hate the trade. Again, would I do it? Maybe, maybe not. But you would maybe tinker around it, maybe, play with a couple other pieces and, add a couple alterations to it. But I don't think it's a terrible idea. I mean, again, this is what's going to come with the territory now, y'all. The Pistons are at a place where the rest of the East is getting a lot better. I've been saying all season long, I think the East is better than people were giving it credit for. And it's only going to get stronger as, people see these doors open and as other players are getting healthy as well. So, it's going to have to be some tough conversations where if you want Cade to, not have as many turnovers as he's had, if you don't want to see him gassed, by the postseason, you're going to have to find a way to get him some help. And it may cost some tough players and some tough names that you may have fell in love with over the past few years. But if you want a championship and if you really want to be in those kind of conversations and windows, these are the kind of combos you got to be having.
I mean, I've seen some like really bad mock trades with the Pistons, like really bad.
Yeah.
I think a lot of mock trades that I see with the Pistons, they might solve one issue, but then it like actually creates three more problems.
Right.
Like, and I think the reason why we see Stu involved in so many trades is because I think a lot of people are anticipating that Duran is going to get that 40 million.
Right.
It's really hard to say our center crop between Duran, Stu, and Paul Reed, that could be like around $60 million.
Right.
And I think that's why Stu's involved in so many is because his contract is very movable and it's very favorable. I mean, $15 million for a very good shot blocker, has the ability to hit threes occasionally, which I kind of wish he would shoot more threes. I don't know why he doesn't with JB, but that's beside the point. Like, I don't think this trade is terrible. I mean, it does actually fix two problems that Trajan talked about: more perimeter spacing, which Tyler Hero does, and more of a playmaker. I mean, I know some people think of Tyler Hero as like the sniper, but he's an actual pretty good playmaker, kind of an underrated playmaker in the sense. But I could understand if people see this mock, seeing the first, seeing Stu for Tyler Hero and saying like, nah, man, like if we're going to have Stu in a first in a trade, we got to go a little bit bigger. We got to think bigger than Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. And the center core crop that you were talking about is extremely important as well. Knowing that Duran faced some injuries, the suspension between him and Stu after the melee with the Hornets, B-Ball Paul was phenomenal. He was a godsend in the playoffs when they needed him most. And again, this is a guy that's barely scratching the surface in terms of the opportunity that he was able to get. Shout out to Downtown Deuce and Sarah, his co-host. They actually brought this up a lot on their show where they were talking about a lot of games this year where B-Ball Paul was getting more points than minutes when he was getting opportunities. Yeah. So that was mad cool to see him because he easily could have sulked and said, man, can I get some time? Can I get some burn? Like, again, I take a lot of time to watch the pregame of the players, when they're putting in their time and working and getting prepared in the pregame. He was one of the hardest workers in pregame all season long. And he was one of the guys that you never knew if he was going to play or not. So I think what his professionalism, the versatile dynamic he was able to bring to this basketball team on both sides of the ball, I think he was fantastic on defense too when asked for. And we saw a bit of a decline from Stu after he won that Defensive Player of the Month, unfortunately, earlier in the year. So I think B-ball Paul in a situation like with the Pistons where they need a lot more two-way guys that can impact both sides of the floor. He was doing that at a high level, and I think he does a good job of, like I saw people talking about on Twitter, maybe he could be the four of the future. I think he's a little better suited as that unpredictable wild card off the bench to bring as your energy guy, for the dog pound, than the guy that you play for 20, 30 minutes, next to JD. I just think he'd be a little bit better suited with that in terms of how you can structure what your roster looks like. But how he played this year was an unbelievable, setting for the team. And I think it does kind of open up the door to discuss the expendability of Isaiah Stewart in these kind of off seasons.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we continue to see mock trades like this. Like this one to me, I thought was at least reasonable. Like this could actually be like a three-team trade if like Giannis got dealt to Miami and like the Pistons were like, hey, like what are you doing with Tyler Hero? Like we'll get involved in that. Like maybe you don't have to give up a first and a second. Maybe you can just like try to put yourself in it.
Right.